Hello! Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's section of reads. This should be on the YouTube channel James13 Wicca, just in case you're seeing it somewhere else. The dice and decks I'm using are going to be listed below. Other than that, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. This is James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and let's go ahead and get into your selection. Hello, Virgo. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Virgo? I don't know why it's slowing down. It is slowing down. So, did you know this moment was coming? Did you know this moment was coming? I feel like that's a big piece of this. It's a little bit about, I mean, the information was here. You got the Death card in the World. I feel like you knew the moment was coming. I feel like you knew it was going to happen at some point, but the actual when may have been a little elusive. Okay, so the information, when the information came to Virgo, Knight of Cups and the High Priestess, both like that. Well, the Knight of Cups is going that way. High Priestess is going that way. Information coming in. Whenever this situation started going into this cycle, is that a way? Something like that. Something where, when this started, something about this part started, there was good information. Like, I feel like the intent was good. I'm not questioning what was told to me or where it was coming from. Excuse me. I feel like people were trying to be more on the level, but realistic at the same time. It's kind of like, I think this is how this is going to go. And I keep feeling like that's kind of how it kept going. I think this is how this is going to go. I think this is how this is going to go. I think this is how this is going to go. And I think also you understood it that way. Kind of like, hopefully it works out this way. It's almost like the weather. Very much like the weather. Kind of like, we think this is what the weather we're going to have. We have a better chance of this at this time, but there's no guarantee. Excuse me. The energy is like, I just don't feel like it wasn't about liking it. It's kind of like, again, the weather. It's kind of like the weather's going to do what the weather's going to do. That type of thing. So, and there was always a variable of the wheel going on. Again, I keep giving the weather as an analogy, but I feel like that's the best way to put it. It's kind of like, during the summer months, this is more likely this type of weather, but it doesn't mean it's going to be good weather. Same thing with the winter. More likely this other type of weather, but, you know, that type of thing. That's kind of what we're looking at. You got the Five of Cups here. You wanted to stabilize it. That's your natural way. But at the same time, I feel like you did acknowledge, like, I don't think that's a thing here. I don't think that's a thing here. Stabilizing it, yeah, it's kind of like, I'd like to have a guarantee, but that's not a thing here. Very honest with yourself. Very honest with yourself. You have the Ace of Cups. Very honest with yourself and who you were dealing with. It's almost kind of like, I keep looking at like this vacation type feel, but it's not like we have a certain time set. It's kind of like, well, you know, there's a few weekends coming up when it's really nice out. We're going to do what we want to do. And we know who we're going to do this with, and we're just keeping in tandem with it. We're watching. If it looks like it's going to go our way, we're kind of coming together and trying to make this happen. I feel like it's working. It's working. Due to this situation, it's going the way it's going. It's fine. You're doing your best to be a support at this moment. I'll try to be as available as much as I can. I'll try to connect as much as I can. I'll support it as much as I can. I'm trying to keep a realistic look at it. Doing the best you can with it. King of Pentacles, grounding. You're trying to keep some stability in the situation for yourself, but for others as well. It's almost like, again, if we're going to do the weather analogy, it's kind of like, okay, I've been watching the weather, and maybe it's like Wednesday, and you're like, we want to get together Saturday. Looks like it looks pretty good, but there's no guarantees. Let's kind of like plan for the Saturday coming up. And then the next day comes around, and you're like, it's looking a little iffy. Let's keep it tentative, but see where it goes. And then the next day, Friday, and you're like, we're going to definitely have some bad weather. Do we want to move it to a different day, or do we want to try? Because it originally didn't look like it, but there's going to be some bad weather. And I feel like that's how you're keeping in tandem. Like, we could do it, but do you want to try for a different weekend, or you want to just kind of push through? You're going to have at least some bad weather, but what do you want to do? I feel like you're trying to be supportive as much as possible. The moment is coming up sooner than expected. I don't see you looking at this in the sense of like, so like I gave the analogy of like, okay, it looked good, but the closer we get, we're definitely going to get some bad weather. I don't see you being like, how about we shoot for a different weekend and we might have a better chance. I don't see that energy with you. I feel like it's kind of like, you know what, maybe I'll let somebody else decide that. And if I'll just let somebody else decide that, because it's not going to be smooth either way. Even if we wait for the perfect weekend, I just don't feel like it's going to be smooth. There's going to be other things that are going to be hang-ups. And I don't want to be the target for people being unhappy about that. So if other people are like, you know what, let's just do it this weekend. Let's just see what happens that way. It's kind of like, okay, let's roll with it, because it does come in faster than expected. Somebody else is saying, let's just do this. Let's just get through it. Which is weird, but there's kind of a weird let's just get through it type energy. 5 of Swords here. Somebody is having this let's just get through it energy. At least one person. Let's just get through it. Let's just see what happens. Let's just make it happen. Let's just do it. I don't think it's bad. It doesn't feel bad. It's just there might be anxiety with somebody else, kind of like the anticipation. Also, they're like, well, if this keeps hanging out here, like, we're going to do it, but we haven't. We're going to do it, but we haven't. They seem to keep having to kind of plan for that, and maybe they don't want to. They're just like, let's just do it, and then, you know, enjoy it the best we can, and then move on from it. Something like that. There's anxiety around the situation. Whether or not you're feeling it, I don't know, but there's definitely some anxiety around it for whatever reason. The Death card comes in, like, I feel like we're making our decision when we're going to do it. But then the World card comes in right after, like, it happens. We're going into this situation, whatever it is. And things are different. It seems to be quite significant, whatever this is. It's baffling me. I'm like, what is this about? I don't know. Not everybody... Okay. The energy's a little confusing. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think everybody wants to be happy. There's a weird energy with that. I don't know what to say about it. Not everybody wants to be happy. You can go through and just be happy and just go with what... That's an option. I normally wouldn't be against that. Not that I am against it, but it's like, I don't see this turning out to your best. This doesn't turn out the best for you if you just kind of go with it. Just kind of like, I'll just enjoy it for what it is. That's what this energy is. I'll just enjoy it for what it is. I'll just handle it as it is, because that seems to be what I need to do anyway. It makes sense why you'd want to, but there's another version of a possibility here that might go a little bit better. Take it with a grain of salt. Virgo's known for structure. Virgo is known for structure. Not everybody wants to do structure. There can be more success with this situation if you kind of help with the structure a little bit, which is normal for Virgo. But for some reason, when you go into this, it might be like, it's not my ball of wax. I'm just going to, whatever they want, I'll help them with, but I'm not going to really do my thing. I'm just going to, they let me know, I'll do what they, I get that that's not going to work out as well. There's kind of like this putting out feelers, like, would you like me to this? Maybe we could that. And I almost feel like I'm apprehensive to do that. Like, it reminds me of a couple different jobs I've had where people stopped making suggestions because if you made the suggestion, it would be you who had to do it. So it's kind of like, well, I'm not going to make suggestions because I don't really want to do that, or at least I don't want to do it by myself. So I just won't even suggest it. Then it doesn't have to be an issue. So there's something like that going on here. Making the suggestions and then also suggesting in the same breath people who could help you with it, or maybe asking certain people if they'd be interested in doing that. That might work. What is the second card? Rainbow Blessings. So there's some structure. It doesn't have to be a heavy amount of structure, but some extra structure here. So more structure than is naturally showing up would be very helpful in this situation. That's what Virgo's known for. That could bring in a lot more happiness overall to the situation. It could actually stabilize things that may not be very stable. I don't know that there's a bad outcome if you don't, but there's a better outcome if you do. That's kind of where I'm getting that. It's up to you. You got to do what you think is right. It's just an option. I don't know what's going on here, but there's some heaviness with the whole situation. There's definitely some heaviness. Knight of Pentacles, and the Death card comes in again on the dice. A lot of Death card energy going on here. The situation will move on. What is this other one? Is that the 8? The situation will move on. I feel like we just want to be able to look back on it like, all right, that worked out pretty much as good as it was going to work out. I feel like that's the goal. Kind of like, oh, all right, well, for example, if you help do a little extra structure where it wasn't really there, it's going to be one of those things where, you know what? I'm glad I did that. It worked out as good as it was pretty much gonna. Something like that. What is this for Virgo? They are giving this heads up. The obstacles are not completed at this point. Whatever the situation is, I don't know if it's... I don't know what the... There's something here with, like, there's more that has to be handled afterwards. It's not complete. This is not completing the story. It's going into the next level is what I'm getting. I don't know if it's expected to complete it, because you got the Death card coming in and the World card. Like, something is ending, but... whatever, it's almost like we're doing something to acknowledge the ending, but something new is being created from that, and that's where the new obstacles are going to show up. Can we get a little bit more about that for Virgo? Because there might be a whole different situation coming in that you're not expecting. I don't think it's expected. 2 of Cups coming in and the Moon card. The Moon card is highlighting it too. Yeah, there's something that's coming from this situation. Again, it's almost like we're tying up loose ends. And we're kind of moving on from it and kind of looking back like, okay, we did the best we could with that. But they're saying something is yet to be born from this. This isn't really a pregnancy card, but when I was looking at it through the viewfinder here, or whatever you want to call this thing, I kind of looked at it quick and I thought it was a mom's belly, like a pregnant belly. It's kind of like something's going to be born from this, and I keep getting that. If you're expecting it, or if you're keeping an eye out for it, I feel like this can be not that bad of a thing. I don't think it's going to be bad anyway, but not that big of a deal. With this Obstacles card, I'm trying not to go on forever and a day about it, but there's going to be like heads up and signals and signs that something else is coming that there's something going to be born from this. If you step away from it and you're just like, well, that's that, and I'm just going to let it be, you might get blindsided. I think that's what they're trying to give you a heads up about. If you're kind of like, well, that's done. What it was is what it was. I think it was the best it was going to work out, and then you just kind of let it be. When this next thing comes in, when it's ready to be born, you might be blindsided. Like, wait, there's another child? What do you mean? I didn't know that person was pregnant. Like, what? Wait, what? It might be one of those things. But if you're kind of like keeping an eye out, like, is this over? Is there something else that's not resolved? Is there something else here? I feel like you'll start picking up, like, wait a minute, that person's buying baby bottles and formulas, and that person over there got a crib. That person's getting like one of those jumpy chairs. Like, wait, what's going on? That person over there is like pricing like daycares and stuff. Like, what? Like, what's going? Why are people doing that? What's happening over there? What's going over here? It's almost like I don't see those people very often, but they seem to be preparing for something. Maybe I should ask questions. Maybe this is a time where maybe I want to ask questions, just so I don't get blindsided by something that maybe I want to be a part of. Okay. That's a big piece of that too. It's not bad. I just feel like if you get blindsided with it, you may be unhappy that you got blindsided. I don't think anybody's doing anything negative. It's just how it's working out. But like if you keep your eyes open and you kind of like, wait a minute, let me ask questions. That seems a little odd. It can get you closer to the situation because Virgo's like the preparer. This could give you the opportunity to prepare. Are we good? I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.